Southampton's season hasn't got off the ground yet, and they were expecting a tough night against a Leeds team who, in contrast, had opened with 3 successive wins. Leeds were soon getting on top. This was Gary McAllister's shot, well saved by Dave Besant. Still Leeds persevered. Brian Deane, rejuvenated this season, thundering a fine shot against a post before it bounced away to safety. It was then a splendid solo goal from Tony DeRigo that at last edged Leeds in front 20 minutes from time. England's seemingly forgotten fullback made another of many surging runs before delivering a stunning finish. But 10 minutes later, Saints were level. Leeds failed to clear a corner, and from Dean's attempted clearance, the ball went in off Tommy Widrington, Southampton's first goal in open play this season. The brilliance of Matt Letizia almost gained the extra points for the home side. John Lukic performed heroics to keep him out. Frankie Bennett then hit the side netting. 1-1 at the Dell. For Southampton, that's their first point of the season. With veteran player-manager Ray Wilkins, a calming influence in midfield, Queen's Park Rangers were anything but overawed at Anfield, although the informed John Barnes would have scored here but for the heroics of goalkeeper Tony Roberts. Liverpool's attack, so menacing at Spurs last Saturday, seemed surprisingly subdued, and it took a defender to show them how it should be done. Neil Ruddock claiming his first goal since last November with this fierce shot. Anguish for Tony Roberts, whose place is now threatened by the arrival of Jurgen Sommer. Generally, it was a lacklustre encounter, but Rangers will feel they had enough chances to have earned a draw. Simon Barker's volley was just over. Rangers gave Liverpool's 5-man defence plenty to think about. Late on, it was Rob Jones who cleared off the line from Trevor Sinclair. All rather tight, but that's 3 more points for Liverpool, 3 wins in 4 starts. It was an eventful match at Selhurst Park. Wimbledon believe they're capable of scoring plenty of goals this season, but were twice behind against a Sheffield Wednesday team playing positively themselves. This was the first for Wednesday, scored by Belgian international Mark de Greizer, his first for his new club, the goal after 9 minutes. Wimbledon soon equalised though. Vinnie Jones' long throw flicked on by Andy Thorne for John Goodman to strike. Still Wednesday stayed threatening. De Greizer, a £1.5 million signing from Anderlecht, having a header pushed onto the post by Paul Heel. The second half of this exciting contest had barely restarted when Wednesday were in front again. David Hurst with the goal he hopes will help underline his recent recovery from long-term injury. But then with 7 minutes left, a penalty for Wimbledon. Julian Watts the offender when he held on to substitute Gary Blissett. Dean Holdsworth's successful kick means that Wimbledon are now joint top scorers in the Premier with leaders Newcastle, even though in this game they had to settle for a 2-2 draw. Bolton's main assets on the playing side could soon be leaving. Irish international Jason McAteer is a prime target for Premier giants such as Blackburn and Liverpool, while Alan Stubbs is also a target for Rovers, who were beaten by Bolton at Burnden Park last Saturday. Despite defeat at Leeds last weekend, Aston Villa are on the threshold of their best start since their championship season of '81. And Bolton were hard put to contain them. Irish midfielder Andy Townsend narrowly wide on this occasion. Villa, with Mark Draper superb in midfield, were comfortably the more dangerous side. In particular, Dwight York with this chance, well saved by Keith Brannigan. Reward came at last for Villa 15 minutes from time. Gary Charles and the Yugoslav Milosevic paving the way for York to head in the goal that Villa had been threatening for so long. Aston Villa the winners by a goal to nil. Sold on by Arsenal to Nottingham Forest, Kevin Campbell was back at Highbury, hoping that his first goal for his new club might come against his last one. Brian Roy, meantime, has made his peace with manager Frank Clark after showing his disapproval at being substituted last weekend. Arsenal had plenty of ideas in attack, but couldn't penetrate. Ian Wright was unlucky on this occasion, on the end of a flowing move. It took then a marvellous goal from David Platt to give Arsenal a breakthrough. An explosive volley from the England captain to reward the first-time passing of Arsenal, this coming 3 minutes from half-time. Ray Parlour very much involved in the build-up. So too, Lee Dixon with the cross. Sadly, though, for Platt, his elation at scoring such a fine goal was tempered by the news of his knee injury. Arsenal fans, though, will savour this goal for some time to come. Forest were more dominant in the second half, and it was no real surprise when they equalised soon after the hour mark. Kevin Campbell joyously collecting the goal that helped silence the predictable abuse he'd been suffering from his former Highbury fans. He nearly went a step further too. David Seaman in the Arsenal goal, rescuing his team from what would have been even greater embarrassment. Final score, Arsenal 1, Forest 1. Andrei Kanchelskis, Everton's capture from City's rivals United, scored a hat-trick here for Alex Ferguson's team last season, and he was the main scourge of City again as Everton tormented them. This was the Russian shooting over. Just before the hour, Everton, looking much the sharper side, were in front. The Nigerian international, Daniel Amokachi, setting up a well-taken goal scored by Joe Parkinson. He doesn't score too often, so he'll be well pleased with this one. At least City responded to manager Alan Ball's call for greater commitment, and they would have been rewarded here but for Gary Ablett's clearance off the line from Niall Quin's header. But a second goal for Everton ended any hopes of a City comeback. Amokachi scored it this time after more rampaging from Kanchelskis. Defeat leaves City bottom of the Premier and still without a win of any kind so far this season. Chelsea's goal drought for the start of the campaign ended only 6 minutes into the first half against Coventry. The frustrations of earlier matches discarded as they won a penalty. Defender Brian Burrows committed the offence on Gavin Peacock. Celebrations at last at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea as their captain Dennis Wise scored from the spot. 4 minutes later it was 2. The best of Ruud Gullit and Mark Hughes serving up an excellent goal. Hughes first for his new club. Coventry, promising starters this season, look to be in serious trouble. But gradually Coventry eased their way back into the game, and just before half-time they reduced the deficit to 2-1. This with another telling contribution from Brazilian Isaias. The player destined, it seems, to be a real success in the Premier this season. 8 minutes into the second half, Coventry struck again. John Salako thought he'd scored it. Peter and Love was more clinical on the rebound. From there on, Coventry could have won the game, but it was Chelsea who agonisingly came closest to a deciding goal. In the final minute, Gullit shot rebounded off a post. 2-2 at Stamford Bridge, with Glenn Hoddle annoyed that his Chelsea team didn't maintain that flying start. Three early bookings confirmed the tension of this London derby, but on 25 minutes, a breakthrough for West Ham. A blistering free kick from Don Hutchison that left Ian Walker helpless to intervene. Tottenham, after their shaky start, are still lacking confidence, but at least they had the odd menacing moment. Dean Austin's shot here, kept out by Ludek McCloskey. Then 10 minutes into the second half, relief for Tottenham as they conjured up an equaliser. David Howells supplied the pass, and Israeli international Ronnie Rosenthal the finish. A point apiece and a further fillip for Spurs with the second half entrance of substitute Darren Anderton. The England winger is back after injury, well ahead of schedule. The midweek results reveal that only Newcastle have still a 100% record. Leeds drop points for the first time with that draw at Southampton. Liverpool, Manchester United and Villa all kept in close touch with narrow victories. It's Manchester City then now bottom of the Premier. After that home defeat by Everton, they're one of 5 teams still without a victory. The others are Southampton, Spurs, West Ham and Chelsea, who at least managed a couple of goals at last. 9 goals scored, only 1 against. Newcastle are top of the pile with 4 straight wins. Leeds are 2 points behind them, and then come 3 teams on 9. Liverpool, Manchester United and Villa, followed by Everton and Wimbledon, a further 2 points adrift. All the pre-season predictions seem to be spot on. Newcastle heading the table in exhilarating fashion. But have Manchester United been written off too soon? Since their opening day blemish at Villa Park, United have now won 3 in a row. Their performance against Blackburn at Ewood Park, suggesting reports of their demise, have been greatly exaggerated.